everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Planetarian for Steam Part 12. Today, the story continues as we wade through this fog and rain. If I had just walked into its mist, I would be able to return. Back to the world that I had lived in since the day I was born. Back to the world in which I had no choice but to live. However, that was not her world. The only things that would await her when she returned to her beloved workplace were a projector that would never function again, and an eternity of time. To take this reality broken and corrupted by the unending rain and to change it into the meager dreams of which she spoke. Was there not any way to make it happen?
お客様、お聞きしてよろしいですか?
She finally opened her mouth again. What is it?
お客様は神様にお願いをしたことはありますか?
No.
その質問には答えた覚えがあるな。
I think I've answered that question before.
はい、お客様はあったかもしれないが、ろくなことは願っていないとお答えになりました。
物覚えがいいな。
You have a good memory.
はい、私はロボットですから覚えておくのは得意なんです。
お前が何を願うかまだ聞いてなかったな。
I have not yet heard from you what it is that you pray for.
はい、その通りです。
何を願う?
Then, what do you pray for? I asked. She stood in the midst of the furious rain. She looked back at me and then spoke slowly.
天国を二つに分けないでください。私はロボットの神様にそうお願いしたいです。天国の門が人間とロボットに分かれていたら、私はとても困ってしまいます。私は天国に行っても人間の皆様のお役に立ちたいです。これからもずっと皆様のおそばで働きたいです。
She stared at me like a child desperately looking for confirmation.
そうだ。
Is that so?
はい、そうなんです。
She smiled bashfully. For her, these words were probably just an extension of her idle talk. But I was starting to think of other things altogether. When we departed from the planetarium, she said that if I continue in the current pattern of usage, then my battery will last for 4 more days. She had probably not thought that the way would be so long and harsh. No, it was doubtful that she thought that even now. In other words, her batteries would be running out quite soon. If her battery were to cut out by the time that we reached the Land Rover, then I would be able to bring her out of this city without having to worry about how she felt about it.
お客様？お客様？
She called out to me, sounding worried.
お疲れでしたら少しお休みになってはいかがでしょう。
いや、大丈夫。
No, I'm fine.
お車まではまだ遠いのでしょうか。
いや、もうそろそろ。
No, we're almost there.
それは良かったです。
She again smiled sweetly. I gazed uneasily into the rain, feeling as if she had seen all the way through me. I thought about taking another swig from the whiskey bottle, but I eventually decided against it. I had already been drunk well past my limit, even before I had encountered that bottle of whiskey. The face of that old junker partner of mine suddenly came to mind. Do not talk to it. It is not a thing that is of this world. I had not heeded that advice. And it may well have been that the time for me to pay the price for not listening was nigh. What was I to do with her? What exactly was I planning on doing with her? Unable to find an answer to these questions, I simply walked into the mist of the rain. Stop.
はい、わかりました。
The precise sound of her footsteps vanished that instant.
ここで待ったら3分したら戻ってくる。
Wait here. I'll return in 3 minutes.
どちらへお出かけですか？
ちょっと用足しだ。
I need to go to the bathroom.
はい、わかりました。ここでお待ちしています。
She simply smiled back warmly at me as if my excuse were perfectly logical.
静かにしてろよ。
Be quiet now. I reminded her once again as I checked the safety of my grenade launcher. Maintaining as low a profile as I could, I made my way under the shadow of rubble. Just as I had thought, this alley connected back up to the main street that stretched past the front of the train station I had seen on my way in. The totally abandoned road continued straight for about 300 meters, and then abruptly ended in a barricade. And after that, the town itself abruptly ended. This was the buffer zone. At the time of the entrenchment of this city as a fortress, the slums that had originally been here had all been demolished to give the machine tools space to work. This also served to make the detection of intruders easy. To that end, the few buildings that were left standing were appropriated as watchtowers. The flat earth, as boggy as a swamp, was expressionlessly reflecting the lead-colored sky. A wind was blowing through its mist. And beyond that, there rose an enormous reinforced concrete wall out of the mist. The only way out was through the rift in the quarantine wall caused by the kamikaze strike of an anonymous assault mech. It was through here that I had entered this town. The alcohol I had imbibed suddenly made its presence felt. As I shifted positions, I felt a stabbing sharpness writhing in my stomach. I took my binoculars out of my backpack and twirled the focus ring. Oh crap. There was something that was being pounded on by the rain. And ladies and gents, I think that's the warmonger. An old combat mech. A four-legged walker. It stood before the rift in the quarantine wall, its spikes driven into the sludge. The slightly elevated gun turret and the sensor radome mounted to its side. And the barrel of the railgun, so large that it bordered on misshapen, that projected from the other end. Not an energy module or an attendant loader mech in sight. In other words, it was in solo operations mode. Its turn signals and its brake lights, totally unbecoming on an anonymous weapons platform, were evidence that it had been manufactured during a time when human law still existed. Its twin machine guns, purposed for proximity defense, were swiveling in anticipatory sweeps.
潮招きか。
A fiddler crab. An MK-43LE anonymous fire support mech. Or maybe it's not a warmonger, I don't know. That was its official designation, but during the war, just about everyone called it a fiddler crab. Its external frame constructed for heavy towing, its reinforced rear legs, and its unique barrel jacket mechanism were the specific characteristics that gave it the L/E designation. Unlike the messengers I had met on the way in, this mech was not a rampant warmonger manufactured and online at one of the myriad anonymous airborne factories that had once filled the skies. No, this was part of the vanguard of Defars, the anonymous defense line first deployed when this city was first quarantined. It had the ability to fire just about any kind of bullet with insulated coating and into the far distance at hypersonic speed. There was no way for infantry to fight against such a powerful, heavy, mechanized unit. But as it did have manual override controls, if one could capture it, then one could turn it into one's own personal hunter-killer tank. More than anything else, a certain death awaited anyone foolish enough to try. If means had ever been developed to neutralize the man-made bacteria, these cities would then become valuable strategic points over which large-scale battles would be fought. This fellow was probably left here as a trump card just in case such an eventuality should occur. It continued to go about its duties now, regardless of the fact that while it had hibernated, the entire world had changed and the things that it had been tasked to protect had long since been eaten away by time and the rain. A certain kind of awe arose within me at the sight.
お客様、お聞きしてよろしいでしょうか。
なんだ。
What?
あちらに見えるものは何でしょう。
自動砲台だ。よりにもよってあんなところに。
An anonymous fire support mech. Why is it here, of all places? Wait, why are you here? I told you to wait where you were.
はい、3分経過しましたが、お客様がお戻りにならなかったので。
分かったから、もっと声を小さくしろ。
I get it, so be quiet.
はい、わかりました。
She nodded obediently.
もう一度お聞きしてよろしいですか。
答えられるとは限らないぞ。
You may ask, but whether I can answer or not is an entirely different matter.
この先の街路は私のデータベースと大幅に異なるようです。再整備されたのでしょうか。
見ての通りだ。
It's just as you see it.
では、あちらに見えるものは建設機械の類でしょうか。
潮招きだ。
It's a fiddler crab.
と申しますと。
お前と同じようなものだ。
It's something similar to you.
と申しますと。
いいから少し黙っていろ。
Look, just shut up for a second. I surveyed the scene with my binoculars once again. Where had it come from? When I had entered this city, there had been no indication that there was any anonymous defense patrol activity in the area. It was as if it had come out to set a trap for me while I was in the planetarium. But if that were the case, then there would not be just one mech lying in wait. It was also possible that it had entered solo operations mode after the power to its nest had been cut off. If I could not silence it with my first shot, then it was very likely that it would call for support from its comrades in the vicinity. If I chose to fight, then did I have a chance at victory at all? As Fiddler Krebs were designed as defensive fire support platforms, they had been built largely without taking close proximity combat into consideration. I knew of a few weak points, but there was only one that could be pierced by a 40mm grenade. I would have no choice but to aim at the ammunition bay hatch located at the top of the barrel apparatus. There was probably about a 50% chance, no, more like a 30% chance that I would actually hit it. Given that, could I take a detour? Would I be able to cross past the quarantine wall at any other point than that rift? No. If I just walked around blindly, then the danger of running into an enemy patrol would just increase. But it would be suicide to pass the night here as well.
お客様？
狩りに出かけてくる。
I'm going out to hunt.
狩りと申しますと。
And sure enough, she cocked her head to signify that she understood neither the situation nor the words I had spoken. I put away the binoculars. She continued to look on with a very curious air. That was just as well, for I myself did not have the confidence to tell her what was going to happen after this.
俺が戻るまでここでじっとしてろ。でないと、俺の命に関わるんだ。
Remain here until I come back. If you don't, it may cost me my life.
申し訳ありません。私には状況がよく理解できませんが、お客様のお命に関わることでしたら遵守するべきと考えます。
She said, very primly clasping her hands before her. I see. So this was the way that I should have ordered her about. All the uneasiness I had felt just melted away. But finally, there remained one thing that I had to do.
もうすぐ俺はこの町から出ていく。
I'll be leaving this city soon.
それではお車まではもうすぐなのですね。ここまで何事もなくお送りできて私もほっとしています。
俺と別れた後、お前はどうするつもりだ？
After we part, what do you plan on doing?
はい、私単独で職場に戻りますのでどうぞお気遣いなく。
この町は無人だ。たとえお前が戻っても二度と客は来ないし、プラネタリウムを見せる機会はない。
This city is uninhabited. Even if you were to return to the planetarium, you will never again have any customers. And you will never again have a chance to show anyone the stars.
それに、この町の電力供給は終わった。投影機も二度と動かない。
And the power supply to this city is at an end. The projector will never operate again.
全部お前がその目で見た通りだ。
You have seen all of this with your own two eyes.
はい。
I could see the inner lenses of her synthetic eyes moving to focus in on me. I kept trying to tell myself that this was just a machine. That her responses to me were nothing more than algorithmic responses to my observed speech and conduct. And then she spoke.
私の基本データベース及び現在までの蓄積データベースを照合しますと、お客様は必ずお越しになると考えます。停電に関してですが、送電が回復するまで、私もイエナさんもいつまでも待つことができます。
Her response to me up until this point was exactly as I expected.
いいか、これから俺の言うことをよく聞いて理解しろ。
Listen very closely to what I am about to say and remember it well.
はい、わかりました。
ここに来るまでにお前が見てきた事実だけで全てを判断しろ。
Before you leave this place in one way or the other, make your choice based on the reality that you see here.
この町にはもうお前もプラネタリウムも必要ないんだ。
Neither you nor the Planetarium are necessary for this city any longer.
これからも人間のために働きたいと思うなら俺についてくるしかない。
If you wish to continue to work for humans, then you have no choice but to come with me.
俺についてきてもお前にとってそれが幸せなのか俺には分からないし保証もできない。
And even if you do come with me, I will not be able to know if it will make you happy, nor will I be able to guarantee it.
ついてくるのも戻るのもお前の自由だ。
It is your choice whether you stay or whether you come with me.
私はこれからも人間の皆様のお役に立ちたいと考えます。それが私の幸せです。
She replied immediately.
ですが、お客様のお話からこれからの行動を決定するには、情報が不足していると考えます。
お前がこれ以上の情報を得る手段はない。わかるだろ。
And you have no means of gaining any more data. You understand this, right? Now that she understood that the support center no longer functioned, she was made completely anonymous. It was perhaps true that her paradigm of action had become dependent in greatest part on me. For instance, because I had told her that I was sick, she had chosen to escort me regardless of the fact that her battery was about to die. But I had never wanted such a thing. She had shown me the stars. So in turn, I was trying to show her a future that I alone could give her. The fact that she was not human but a robot did not matter. This was the bond between her and me, and the only proper exchange.
俺が戻るまで考えておいてくれ。
Think about it until I come back. And on that note, folks, yeah, we're going to leave you hanging here. Hate to do that, but got to set up for the next part. So stay tuned for Let's Play Planetarian for Steam. Part 13 could be the final. Still don't know yet, 'cause I think we got a bit more. So I'll see you then, peoples.